Good morning, everybody. My name is Coffee Brown, and my channel is Coffee Spills the Tea. Today is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, and I am just here to just let you know we're going to talk about, again, I got my computer. Boom. How's that going for all of you with your Xfinity Essentials and the things I instructed you about earlier with setting it up so that you can get I got a computer for $149. I have you gotten yours? If you were following the steps I took, I have been working on my continuing education for free. Have you been working on yours? I have a plan in place, and I want to talk about that a little bit today as well. And just kind of go through a few things as far as what's coming up for deadlines that we should be aware of. So before I go any further, as always, I ask you please to subscribe to my channel, to like this video, and to hit the notification bell down there so that every time I upload a video, then you will know. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It's just something that's going to help me with the algorithms with growing my channel. Also, if you remember at the beginning of the year, remember I talked about how I have I have things like eggs and like half and half milk that I'd frozen and just have them frozen solid in my refrigerator. I decided I was going to go through another round of cream, and I don't know if you can see here, but I am making coffee, delightful, beautiful coffee. If actually like a cafe Americano, if you've ever been to Italy, when I ask for a cafe Americano, it's like they take I don't know what it is, the espresso, and then they add water, and then they put a whole bunch of milk in it. And I'm just like, I love that. But I also like to froth it. So I froth my cream as well. Um, and it's still as delicious as when I put it into the into the freezer. So remember, it's got to go into the freezer, but it also needs to go into an airtight container. And then, you fill it up, you put it in an airtight container, and then put it in a freezer. I always will date it so that I know. And like when I put them in the freezer and what order. And then I'll start with putting the ones that are the newest on the bottom, and then the ones that are older toward the top, and then just rotate through. So that has really helped me quite a bit with saving money on things that are now becoming very expensive. Because I looked up and a cough when I the pint of or quart the quart of half and half that I normally get is almost $5. But I bought mine when they were on sale for like two something, like high twos, like 2.99 or something like that. I bought like four or five of them, and then I froze them and put them inside the freezer. Just like with my eggs, I get them in a 30 pack, and I got a few 30 packs at $3.99 each. And then I cracked those eggs, put them into an airtight container, slightly beat them, added a little bit of salt, and put them into the freezer. And then I've just been slowly taking them out over time. And of course, I labeled like what's the date that I put them in? Because I started doing this back at the beginning of December. I was buying these eggs when I knew things were bad and when I knew things were going to get worse. And now I've seen the same 30 pack going for $12.99. And I'm not buying eggs at all, like at all. Like, no. Now, it's a little bit, it won't work when it's like Easter if I'm trying to do Easter egg rolls with the kids or anything. But fortunately, I don't have kids. That's the first thing. And number two, well, I wouldn't do Easter egg rolls anyway. I would just most likely just get focus on getting the big Easter baskets. Although that is going to become a problem as well because we all know that I think they said it's Macedonia that makes the vanilla that we use for chocolates. And there's this huge tariff on like Macedonia. And it's just like, okay, not going to be helpful. um, because they don't buy anything from us because it's a poor island, not very many people. Why would they buy from us? Like what do we have to buy? What do we have to offer? I'm not saying it to put down Americans. We are an awesome country normally. And and we have our strengths, but our strengths are not things that every country would want to buy. But we have things that we want to buy from other countries that just no normally would even out. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. But you know what? That's not what this talk is about. Um, I just hope that you did what I asked you to do back when things were cheaper, because now things are expensive and you should be saving money. Yum. So let me show you. I got my computer yesterday, and it's actually a two-in-one. So it's a laptop, but you can flip it and make it work as though it's a tablet. And it also has a touchscreen on it, so I can do things like draw. And I have wanted to have a touchscreen because the touchscreen that I have now is actually just it's really a touchscreen. It's not a laptop, it's just a touch screen, literally. And so I have it plugged into my computer so that I can do presentations and things, but it takes up so much power that it makes my computer glitch. So this being a touchscreen is awesome. Now it doesn't have a lot of gigs. It only has like 4 gigs of memory and 64 gigs of hard drive. And so before the Chinese tariffs went into effect, I bought an external hard drive from Temu or whatever you want to call it for like 16 bucks. And it has 1 terabyte of hard drive. So my goal is, because now they're saying that the administration is going to exempt um electronics. So I went in and found out what I can, because you can't just add memory, like as much as you want. There's going to be a limit to a computer as far as how much memory can you add additionally. I can only add another 4 gigabytes of RAM. So 8 gigabytes is going to be enough for me to work with. I wish it was like 16 or 32, but these are, it's a cheap laptop that they built and created for me. It's a Dell Latitude. Um, and so I'm going to go ahead and buy the RAM and then bring it to like Micro Center or something, and or Best Buy, and just have them throw the RAM in and upgrade it so that it will run faster and be more efficient. And so with these little upgrades, this cheap here and the cheap RAM that I'm going to get, I will probably have spent, when it's all said and done, maybe $200 for a laptop that's going to be really nice and it has Microsoft Office on it. Although I might strip it down and take Windows off entirely and just focus on having a turning that into a Linux laptop, which is free. But I want to learn Linux, and Linux is really important if you want to work with cloud. So if you have Xfinity Essentials, and you'll have to go back a few videos in order to see like how I set that up so that I could get this Dell Latitude for 150 bucks, which was really 115 plus they added in like a couple of things like the Microsoft Office and something else, the build price. So whatever that extra was, the $35 or whatever, that's was the extra. But it all comes out to $149. They didn't charge for shipping or anything. And I got it. That is in an earlier video. Roll back to the video that talks about Xfinity Essentials. You have to be a certain income level. You have to get the Xfinity Essentials set up. And then from there, you can go ahead and you can purchase a laptop. And remember, in the Xfinity Essentials, which I said, oh, I don't think they have internet, but they do have internet. I'm not sorry, not internet. I did not think they had cable, but it turns out they do have some cable in there. They have ABC, they have NBC, I believe they have Fox. Oh yeah, they have a lot of Fox. I think they have PBS. but they do not have CBS because I believe with CBS they want you to get Paramount and get the Paramount Plus. So I mean, I don't watch CBS. I don't care. But again, go back a few videos, you'll see how I set that up. Um, are you working on upskilling? I go back a few videos and talk about that. The good news is, and it's kind of good news, and I'm gonna wait to see before I make the official announcement. I'm just checking my emails. But I was hired by a technology company to train people in India. I do not know. It is a contract job for 9 months, and I can train more than one class, but I have to go through. I still have to get through the onboarding, and I haven't said anything about it because it's been very slow trying to get everything together. And I understand that it's a totally different culture, and they're not like go 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 go. They are a lot more like, laissez-faire. It's just like, hey, it will happen when it happens. And I'm just like, I need it to happen now because I need to be able to like get into the portal. So because there's a certain amount of training that I need to be able to train their people using their educational information, and I don't know it offhand. Like I have my knowledge because I am a trainer in technology, but they will have their way of teaching and they want you to use their tools and their materials. And I'm like, I don't know it. The classes are supposed to start May 4th, and it's like 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So you get like 3 months of training these classes, and then the new class comes, there's 3 months, and then the new class comes, that's 3 months. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to see how this goes and then run it again. And so it pays very well, and it gives me enough time. If this truly is a job, it allows me enough time to be able to focus on training on the free websites, the same websites I gave you all, that will help me to develop another skill set so that I can apply for other jobs. For example, there are a lot of Scrum Master jobs out there, and I have like the Scrum Master certification, but I do not have like a lot of like professional knowledge about it. Anybody can go out and get that Scrum Master certification. The test is unproctored. It literally is like a 1 day or 2 day course, and they tell you everything you need to know for the test. And then you can go in, and then you go in, and it's supposed to be on the honor code, and you just kind of like run through the test. But they spend the 2 days telling you it's going to be on the test. And then again, it's unproctored. It's not even timed. Um, so like, okay, you get the Scrum Master certification. Can you go in and interview for these jobs? Like, can you talk about Jira and Confluence and burn down charts and backlogs and, things like that? Right now, I have an awareness of it because I've worked agile before. And when I worked at a job, like, I would say, like, it was in 2021. It's been a while. So I need to get this back in my noggin. So my plan is, if they have truly hired me and they have to bring me on board next week, like it is like the end all, like after next week, the classes start. I just don't see how I could get in to teach because you have to actually get a class. Like they're going to just list all the classes. They're going to take all the trainers that they hired, and they're going to say, okay, go in and get your class. And it's first come, first serve. And if they have all gone through the training and I haven't, that means they'll be able to start training and I will not have a class. And that's just going to kind of bum me out. So if they're going to put me through onboarding, it has to occur like sometime, like either this week or early next week, because come time for like the week, if they like wait until like May 3rd and the class starts May 4th, I just cannot see how I'm going to be able to get a class. Not possible. So just cross your fingers for me. But once I get a class, the class is 5 hours a week, but they pay a lot of money for those 5 hours a week. And out of those 5 hours, only 3.5 hours I have to physically be lecturing and talking and training. Hour and a half is they're paying me is for prep time. So that gives me plenty of time throughout the week to focus on those free courses with those free websites that I told you about, like um the IBM website. I'm trying to remember the other websites. Um like YouTube or um like oh gosh, I can't remember all of them offhand. But again, I spent like quite a bit of time going through some of the free what Allison, like I gave a whole bunch of free websites y'all can go to and work on training up. Because the thing is, and this is just for me wanting to go into Scrum Master, I do like working agile. I am a leader, and every time I've taken those leadership or those exams where they try to determine like what kind of person are you? Are you a leader? Are you a captain? Are you a follower? Are you this? Are you that? I've always tested as leader. And so, that's what I want to be. I want to be a scrum master. There are a lot of remote scrum master jobs out there, and they tend to pay either high fives or low six-figure salary. Very hard to break into, but once you're in, you're like in. So that is one of my goals, is to focus on getting my level of knowledge up for being agile. There's a whole Scrum Master course that I started on, and I decided I was going to go for my PMP, my project management professional certification as well. That one has a bit of a higher bar, but I believe that I'm able to achieve it because of the fact that I owned a business at one time and I had to do everything on my own, and it meets the qualifications that I need to do in order for me to get the permission to be able to sit for that exam. And then there's a whole second part where you have to go and you have to do like 35 hours of prep time training, which has to be recorded with them. And then there's like another part where you have to go in and you actually take the test. And then you have to pass the test. And then once you get that PMP certification, I just feel like it opens up a lot of doors. And I feel like with my Scrum Master and my PMP certification, it will open up quite a bit of doors. So I'm hoping that this training contract comes through. This is the hard part of being a 1099 employee, non-employee, basically working on my own, having my own LLC versus being W-2, where it's like guaranteed work and everything. So yeah, so I'm doing this all by using those same courses that I set up for or that I talked about with all of you. Finally, my last thing that I just want to chit chat about is just making sure that you're ready for these changes that are coming up for the real ID. And I know I've been talking about it over and over and over and over and over, but I was watching kind of a news conference, and I don't know what it is, but this administration and the people around them are dumb, and they do so many like stupid things and like get caught. And it's like, really, like, can you even be good at being bad people? Like, no. And so there's a hot mic where the governor of I think Louisiana was talking to the Speaker of the House, and he was asking like, how's that registration, or how does it look like, how is it going to look for voting day? And the governor's like, oh, we think we got it down to about 18% voter turnout. And then like Speaker of the House is saying, I think his name is Mike Johnson, was like saying, oh, that's great, that's going to be great for the Republicans. And then it was just like, first of all, why are you having this conversation out in public? Second of all, hot mic. And then as it turned out that it just was not the way that they expected. And like twice as many people as normal showed up for that particular election and were able to defeat a lot of the stupid things that were in that dumb law that they were trying, or a bunch of laws they were trying to pass that were heavily what do you call it, heavily favored towards like conservatism. Add a little bit more. So it becomes really important because I know a lot of people are saying our vote doesn't matter, our vote doesn't matter. It really does matter because if it didn't matter, why are they trying so hard to stop us from voting? Black women, come here, lean in. We understand, our people understand the assignment because this is what they did to us until the Voting Rights Act was passed. So, like, what's happening to Louisiana and all the other white people are like, oh, they're trying to take away our vote. We already know that they're trying to take away our vote. They're trying to disenfranchise us. So, what does that mean for us? What do we have to do? And I understand, like, I completely went and I've changed my registration stuff best I can. I'm not Republican. I am not Democrat. I am independent. I vote for what I think is good for my people. That's it. Well, what's good for my people, and then what's good for the country. Okay, I have to look at both. And so, and then I just go ahead and I vote. I'm just no longer like a straight, like I'm a Democrat girl. Like I just don't do that. So you're gonna have to explain to me what's at stake here and what are the issues and what are the like what's gonna happen if I go this way and what's gonna happen if I go this way. But there's nothing that you can do if you cannot vote. So that real ID is going to become important to you for that reason. Because number one, once you get it, like it's going to establish that you are a US citizen. And in order for you to be able to get it, which at this point, if you are going to get it and you haven't gotten it, you're going to be late. You need to get your birth certificate. All of everybody who needs to get a real ID needs to get a birth certificate. And it must be your original one, which means you're going to have to contact the state where you were born, and you need to contact that that office that I can never remember the name of. Not vital statistics, but whatever that office is. And gosh darn it, I always forget. And then I always have to stop and look it up. So give me a second. Okay, so you're going to have to go to the vital records office, or they may have a health department of the state where you're born. Google it, just like what I just did, and have it pulled and sent to you. You're going to have to pay a fee. It's unfortunate, but you're going to have to pay the fee. Keep that birth certificate with you at all times in a safe and secure place. But anyway, you take that with you to the DMV and you're going to, prove who you are using that original birth certificate. Once you get your real ID, then you can travel domestically, which is the good thing. The next thing that you're going to need to do if you're married is to get an original copy of your of your marriage license. Because if you have changed your last name to reflect your husband, like if I originally was Koffee Jones, but then I married Jim Brown and now I'm Koffee Brown, right? It doesn't match the birth certificate because remember what they may do. They may have you register to vote again and then look at your registration and say, hey, it doesn't match your birth certificate. So you're going to have to prove that the reason why you changed your last name is because you were married. So now they're looking to disenfranchise women, right? They're trying to penalize women, all women, because they're taking their husband's last name. And you know what? Just sidebar, isn't it about time that a man took a woman's last name? Let's let them, let's let them deal with all these issues, right? Anyways, now I'm back. So you're going to have to take all of that in and register to vote. If you are registered to vote, then when you go to vote, you may have to bring that with you when you go to vote. Now, I have found out that we have yet another election in my county in June for this upcoming for our county board. And I just got this fool sent me sent me something saying, okay, we're just not going to look at, like, we don't care. It's said something like, it's not important that we explore why it is that in this rich county there are historical um issues of racism that have created this inequality of wealth and this imbalance of lots and lots of white people and very few black people. He's like, that's not important because it's a very expensive place anyway. So what is it going to do for us to be able to, like, why does it benefit us to bother to look at this? I was like, okay, so you don't care about redlining, which is what this county did. You don't care about redlining. You don't care about like the fact that these banks denied black people loans, denied these black veterans the ability to be able to use their benefits to be able to move in. You're not getting my vote. Okay, so I am going to go in to vote. Things like that are important because they could pass some things by, get some ignorant. Okay, I don't want to curse. They get some ignorant people in that are like, we don't care about black people. I can't believe that that came through to me. Like, what is going on here? It becomes important to vote, even at the local level, because this systemic racism, it starts at the local level and builds its way up into, like, everyday life, into our national politics. And if we don't stop it down at the local level, we are not going to be able to get anything done on a higher level because these ignorant people are coming in at the local level and determining and dictating to us what they're going to do and not do, what can be done, it can't be done, blah, blah, blah. So it becomes important to vote. I know I just went off into a tangent, but it becomes important to vote. You have to vote. So yes, you're gonna, if you're married and you're taking your husband's last name, you need to bring that marriage license in with you, or go to re-register to vote. And even if you re-register to vote and you change your name, it's just going to be a mess. In fact, I'm going to take that back. Just bring your marriage certificate in. You're going to have to bring your marriage certificate in. You're going to bring your real ID, marriage certificate, maybe your birth certificate. Because but the birth certificate, if you have a real ID, it means your birth certificate's valid. But you don't know what they're going to say when you go in there, and they're going to be like, well, your real ID says this, and like, we have you registered as this. Why are the last names different? They're making things extremely difficult. This is just, it blows my mind that in 2025 we are fighting about getting people, like, the right to vote. People, American citizens, the right to vote. So it's just a nightmare. Sorry, I've got, okay, sorry. I have an email that I had to take a look at. It's not the email I'm looking for. Like, I literally have to keep my eye on my emails. Back to you guys. Back to you ladies. It becomes important for us to vote. So you're going to need to carry those papers. And here's the thing, again, ladies, let's bring it in. We have historically been asked to do extra, to pay poll taxes, to prove that we're citizens, to show that we have the right to vote. Black people have traditionally been the ones that have to prove, 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 prove. So this is nothing new to us. So here's what I figure. All those people out there that are taking it for granted, right? I'm pretty sure Republicans, Democrats, they're all taken for advantage. We, the 92 percenters that did the right thing and voted correct, could end up having a say in, like, how politics end up. because we understand the assignment. We're going to go in and we're going to vote. And if we have all the things that we need to identify who we are and that we are there to vote, they cannot take away our vote. They can't disenfranchise us. Would that be wonderful if, like, all the Black people showed up with all the identification and everything they needed, and we all voted, and all the other people, and I mean these people, show up, and three-fourths of them don't have what they need in order to prove that they are who they say they are so that they can vote. And then for once, our votes are the ones that end up determining the outcome of elections. So just on that alone, I say get everything ready, get your papers ready. Now, then conversely, if you're going to look into moving overseas like I am, then let's make another push. If you have that financial means, get your passport. Because I'm telling you, and I already told these people they were looking to hire me. And again, this is India. And they said, oh, they gave me a warning. They said, well, the job that the people you'll be training are in India. So, do you have a problem with that? I immediately knew. And I was like, yeah, I know your time zone difference because I've been to India and I have friends in India. And I was just like, and I have no problems with training people in India. I know that 9.5 hour time difference. And they're like, yeah, it's 9.5 hours. And they were like, have you thought about relocating? And I said, actually, if you hire me, I'll relocate. I'm not going to move to India, which they weren't asking for, but they're like, if you can move a little closer to our time zone, then we don't feel so uneasy about having you training because we know that that big time difference means that you're going to be working overnight. I said, I always work in other people's time zone. I've worked in time zones as different as Australia, where it's night to day. It's 12-hour time difference. Not a big deal. I said, but you hire me, I will move. And they were like, okay, awesome. And so that's part of the reason why I feel like they are planning on following through. But I will not know until like they open up that portal and I start snatching up those classes. And after I snatch up those classes, then I will come online and tell you all, I got that international job. I got that remote job. I'm setting up my appointment with the consulate. I'm out of here. And I will be out of here as quickly as I can. I'm hoping sometime like literally Labor Day. I want to, that's my goal is to move on Labor Day. So I will let you all know. All right. So birth certificate, get it. The vital records office or the health department office in your state where you were born. Once you get that, take that over to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. Get your real ID. Get your marriage license, an original copy of your marriage license, and keep that with your birth certificate at all times. And then if you have that financial means, get your passport. Things are starting to get weird and dicey at the border. And if you are leaving, here's my thing. I'm not sure if I'll be able to return because they are really getting dicey with like allowing people in. But I'm willing to take that chance. I'm totally okay with it. I have big plans once I get out of here and I'm able to move overseas. But yeah, you want to get all that ready, get yourself ready and going if you are in that like mind of wanting to get overseas. I've talked with you earlier videos about what does it take for you to become a 1099 employee, but basically like self-employed. And you don't want to be a sole proprietor. You really want to have an LLC. You want to have that protection so that you can, if you have to go into bankruptcy, then it's the business that's affected, not you personally. And then if you want to shield your taxes a little better, then an LLC is the way to go. That is in earlier videos. Start going back and watching those earlier videos. Start educating yourself on that. And then you're saying to yourself, I can't move. Like, I can't go remote. I don't have the skills. You may not have it. But as I have told you earlier before, in past videos, you can build those skills up. You can go and take free classes and take free courses and build those skill sets up. and then get those interviews and get that job that gets you remote and gets you out. There's a lot that's in my videos that I have unpacked for you beyond like what I talked about in the last video, which is get your free, not free, but get your cheap designer fashions that we all know originally come from China. I talked about that, but in the past video, but that's not about this video. This video is just about getting yourself educated, making yourself aware, and getting ready to get out of here if you have to, if you need to, if you want to. But at the very least, like getting into better jobs, making more money, increasing your skill set, making sure that you're ready to vote, making sure that you're ready to show identification if they need it. Because there are people, and we are, it's clear, we're from here, but they might think, hey, you're Haitian. Then you got to pull out your paperwork and prove who you are. And there are people who they are stopping who don't necessarily have who walks around with like birth certificates and things on them? It's crazy. But because they're racially profiling, it's easy to catch a certain population of people, basically Latinos and stuff, because they have a certain look. Okay, let's stop them. Prove you're not from this country, or that you are from this country. And it's just kind of nuts. But once they come for them, it's not going to be that long before they come for us. So make sure you have your papers ready, secure, and other people know where they are. And then just make sure that you set yourself up so that like everywhere you go, there's a way for you to show who you are, because that's becoming very important. Okay. So I am done. I hope that all of you all, this is not like a, oh my gosh, video, like it's the end of the world as we know it. Or, we're gonna party like it's 1999. This is just me giving you updates on things, reminding you of things, and just keeping you aware of what's going on out there in the world if you're not, paying real close attention. Okay? So before I go, as always, I'm gonna ask you again, please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Share this video with your friends and family, and let's try to help me build this channel, because really it's all about analytics. Hit the notification bell down there so then every time I upload a video, as well. And if you can do all that, it helps me out. It doesn't cost you anything, helps me to grow this channel. And as I grow this channel, I promise you I'll be bringing you much more content on things that are going to help you in your lives as well. So again, my name is Koffee Brown. This channel is Koffee Spills the Tea, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.